So, at the age of 27.
Hello, I'm Jane Addams.
And I am Harriet Martineau.
I was born on September 6, 1860 and I passed on May 21, 1935. I won worldwide recognition in the first third of the 20th century as a pioneer social worker in America, as a feminist, and as an internationalist. I was born in Cedarville, Illinois, the eighth of 9 children. My father was a prosperous miller and local political leader who served for 16 years as a state senator and fought as an officer in the Civil War. He was a friend of Abraham Lincoln, whose letters to him began "My dear double D single quote at Addams." Because of a congenital spinal defect, I was not physically vigorous when young nor truly robust even later in life, but my spinal difficulty was remedied by surgery. In 1881 I graduated from the Rockford Female Seminary, the valedictorian of a class of 17, but was granted the bachelor's degree only after the school became accredited the next year as Rockford College for Women. In the course of the next 6 years I began the study of medicine, but left it because of poor health, was hospitalized intermittently, traveled and studied in Europe for 21 months, and then spent almost 2 years in reading and writing and in considering what my future objectives should be. At the age of 27, during a second tour to Europe with my friend Ellen G. Starr, I visited a settlement house, Toynbee Hall, in London's East End. This visit helped to finalize the idea then current in my mind, that of opening a similar house in an underprivileged area of Chicago. In 1889 I and Miss Starr leased a large home built by Charles Hull at the corner of Houston and Polk Streets. We moved in, our purpose, as expressed later, being to provide a center for a higher civic and social life, to institute and maintain educational and philanthropic enterprises and to investigate and improve the conditions in the industrial districts of Chicago. Why am I so important? I was a social reformer. I was an advocate of organized labor and strove to eliminate poverty rather than to comfort the poor. I was not a radical, but rather I sought to find the middle ground in regard to controversial issues. Conservatives saw me as being too radical, while other social reformers and advocates of labor viewed me as being too conservative. Note to self-haters going to hate. Mainly, I took the role of mediator and spoke and wrote on the topic of labor, attempting to educate the public. Through my work, I had not only worked to improve the condition of immigrants, but also of African Americans. I was not free from prejudice, but did work with blacks and spoke for the equal opportunity for black men and women.
I, Harriet Martineau, born in 1802 in Norwich, England, am considered the first woman sociologist. I'm not going to be extra as what's her name, Jane Addams. Yeah, this is way better than Jane's presentation.
Harriet, did I just hear my name?
Of course not, why would I do such a thing? In 1853, I was the first to translate Auguste Comte's work from French to English. It is through this translation that English-speaking scholars could begin to learn the works of Comte, who is known as the father of sociology. Prior to this translation, I was already clearing a path in my own right with becoming active in observing social practices and their effects on society. Even before the works of Marx, Engels or Weber, I examined social class, religion, suicide, national character, domestic relations, and how these elements affected social problems and individuals. I was also very active in women's rights, the fight against slavery, the struggle of the common worker and religious tolerance.